Hello Internet, so nice to see you. Today I want to talk about what everybody forgets about modulation. It's very easy to get lost in an ocean of technical details when you write key changes in your songs. And it may have happened to you that you write a modulation that it's perfectly textbook and this should work in theory, but then it doesn't really work in your song. Why? How should you change key, and especially where should you change key in your song? What is the principle that make a modulation sound interesting, emotional, and appropriate to your song? Well, listen to me when I explain this concept to a student and follow along.
When you write a song and you want to modulate to a different key, like in the middle of the song, what is the most effective way to modulate from one key to another right in the middle of your song?
Very good. That's a great question. It's a great question, and it's a very long answer. Okay, but we're gonna shrink it down a little bit. Okay, so potentially you can modulate everywhere in the song. Or for people who don't know, modulate and changing key is the same thing. It's just a technical name. You can modulate anywhere in the song, in potentially. Then it's most common to modulate in between sections. So every song has sections. What we call song, the song form, has sections like the verse, the chorus, second verse, second chorus, the bridge or solo or whatever, then chorus, intro, outro, whatever. Those are called sections of the song. The exact scheme is always more or less verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, but there are some variations. The bridge can be longer, shorter, you can have an intro, an outro, other things. It's most common, not the only thing you can do, but it's most common to modulate in between sections. So for instance, the verse is in one key and the chorus is in a different key. Or verse and chorus are in the same key and then the next verse is in a different key. Or the most common of the two most commons are those. Most of the song is in the same key, but the bridge is in a different key, because the bridge is always a contrasting element. You want to put something that is, well, usually, no, not always. So I need to really wake my words here. Usually the bridge is a contrasting element, so that one way of making a contrasting element is to do it in a different key, okay? And that's a possibility. Or the other thing is, like you were saying, final chorus, you go up a whole step, so a full 2 frets on the guitar, essentially, okay? The most common way of doing those things is what we call the direct modulation, which is simply one section is in one key, the next section is in a different key, period. We don't do any transition, it's just bam, okay? Does it work? It actually works, and it is pretty dramatic, okay? Mm-hmm. Think the idea again of going up a whole step between for the last chorus or for the last two choruses or so forth. It's super common, and these also tend to happen just after the bridge. The other way is to prepare the transition. There are several ways to prepare the transition, okay? You can play the fifth chord of the next key and then go on the first chord of the next key, or you can do a 2-5-1, or you can do a number of other things. But in general, the principle under that is to destabilize the previous key. So to play some dissonant chords, essentially, okay, just to boil it down to the essence, you play some dissonant chords that hopefully resolve on the next key and not on the previous key. Mm-hmm. But even if you just play something dissonant that does not really resolve on the second key, it seems to work anyway. That's the thing. It's the dissonance thing that signals to the listener, hey, something's gonna change here. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's the idea. The easiest dissonant chord are the seventh chords, so the dominant seventh chord. Okay, that's why it's the most used. But a diminished chord, an augmented chord, a cluster of notes, this will work, okay, in some situation, of course, depending on what you like, your taste, if it fits the song, etc., etc. Okay? Mm-hmm. To help the destabilization effect, other elements come into play. When you do a modulation, This is an harmonic operation. You change the harmony of the song. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be confined to that. So for instance, you have other elements coming in. You can have more instruments playing at the same time. Okay. You can have the instrument that are playing going louder or playing busier. So typically the drums make a drum fill, okay? Or the guitar player hits a high note in their solo, or all this kind of thing. It's everything that try to increase the intensity, because intensity in this case, it's destabilization of what was previously. Make sense?
Yes.
So it's not a technical answer in the sense I'm giving you a bunch of chord progression, because this takes you only so far. Mm-hmm. That's the principle, okay? Now the idea will be to go and listen to a few songs, see where they change key, and you can hear it, okay? And then try to see what everybody else is doing around that, not only the chord progression, okay? Because that's the thing. Sometimes what really makes the modulation is not the chord progression, not the change of key, not what key you use, not the voice leading, but the fact that other instruments and the drummer are supporting the change.
Yeah, okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so your task, should you accept it, is to go and listen to as many songs as you can and take some notes on how the modulation is affected. Make sense?
Yes.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
And this is your task too. Now go and listen to your favorite songs and concentrate on the moments where they change key. And ask yourself, what is the drummer doing? What other elements are announcing the change of key? Is there an increase in intensity just before the modulation? These little elements are what actually makes a song, and learning to listen to them not only will make you better at writing key changes, but it will make you a better songwriter overall. Now, if instead you want to understand the technical side of how to change key, on how to modulate from any key to any other key in a smooth way, well, this is one of the topics I talk about in my course, Complete Chord Mastery. Complete Chord Mastery, it's not a book. It's a complete video course that takes you from the basics up. We do everything you need to know about harmony and chords on your guitar. All the theory is done straight on the fretboard. There is no theory for the sake of theory here. Everything is immediately practical, and everything is developed through exercises, so you know how to apply these immediately on your guitar. If you have just a minute, click on the link on the top right to check out Complete Chord Mastery. If you like this video, smash on that like button and don't forget to subscribe and click on notification, otherwise YouTube will not let you know when I put up a new video. And if you have any comment, feedback, suggestions, write them down in the comment. I enjoy reading from you and I make videos on your suggestions. This is Tommaso Zillia of musictheoryforguitar.com, and until next time, enjoy!